A Peoria tattoo artist is facing allegations, including sexual assault of an underage girl, inappropriate behavior towards employees, and unsanitary working conditions at his studio. Years later, several alleged victims are now speaking out against him. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this investigation could be disturbing for some. John has been digging deeper into this story. And John, what have you found?
Yeah, that's right, Rashawn. We were actually tipped off earlier last month about hundreds of comments online responding to posts about this man, Mario Davis, the owner of tattoo shop Ink Capital in Peoria. This image is actually from a previous offense. Many of those overlapped in their claims, though. Underage tattooing, unwanted messaging, and improper operation of his studio. And when I sat down with 4 people willing to come forward, the details ended up going deeper than we could have imagined. McKenna Vincent was 15 years old in 2016 when she wanted to get her first tattoo. At the time, her friends said a local Peoria artist, Mario Davis, was willing to tattoo girls under 18 years old. He was 25. Vincent says she went to Davis's house to get the work done around mid-afternoon alone. While waiting for her friend to pick her up after, Vincent says Davis started asking if she would stay to have drinks and dinner. She said no multiple times. That's when, she says, Davis turned physical.
He raped me, and the entire time I had told him that I wasn't comfortable with it. It wasn't a consensual agreement. The only way that I actually got out of it was I told him that I had to go to the bathroom, and if he didn't stop, that I would have urinated right there.
After escaping, Vincent says she and her mother reported the incident to the Peoria Police Department. A redacted version of the report shows during an investigation, Davis told officers he knew Vincent was underage and thought she had her parents' permission to get a tattoo. He also denied sexual assault. The report says investigators dropped the assault charge after looking at messages between the two. Davis was arrested on and pled guilty to a single charge of tattooing a minor. It's the only charge related to underage tattooing on his criminal record in Peoria County. Vincent says the aftermath of the assault was an invalidating experience.
They decided that based off of the conversation that we had, that they felt that it wasn't I guess, good enough evidence in order to charge him with it, which I don't feel is even, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
8 years later, Davis is becoming a topic of conversation online. Some users are sharing similar experiences of him soliciting sex when they tried to get a tattoo. Private message conversations obtained by 25 News reveal other claims, including unsolicited sexual advances and not finishing work after having them rejected.
I think now, because there's so many people talking about it, that it's actually becoming a bigger deal. Unfortunately, it should have been back then.
One anonymous Central Illinois tattoo studio co-owner says many clients come to their business from Davis's studio. They say the clients share what happens to them at Ink Capital.
They immediately wanted his artwork off of them because it reminded them of the horrible experience that they had. They don't have to be reminded every day of that ugly scar.
The co-owner went to the East Peoria Police Department to request a complaint, but officers told them they couldn't file an official report since they were an advocate, not an actual victim. The co-owner also tried to file complaints directly to the Illinois Department of Public Health. The last they heard from IDPH was an investigation was underway, but after following up multiple times, no details were provided.
It's been a long time coming. Nobody wanted to stand up for all of the victims that were coming forward.
We filed Freedom of Information Act requests with all law enforcement entities mentioned by our sources regarding any reports linked to Davis. We received one report back from the Peoria Police Department verified to be McKenna Vincent's. We also asked if there were any open investigations into Mario Davis and or Ink Capital, and were told there were none. We followed up nearly 2 weeks later, and they responded by saying an investigation was open with no further comment.
That's not how we want our industry to be represented. We are very caring, comfortable people, and we would like our public to be comfortable.
Now, after a FOIA request to the State Health Department, one complaint was returned. This one right here. It was filed in 2021 by the same anonymous tattoo shop co-owner that I spoke with. From an April 22nd inspection, findings show the studio does not have a current body art permit and hasn't for 2 years. Some artists do not have current bloodborne pathogen training, and stations do not have sharps containers. Mario Davis himself was interviewed for that inspection, and Ink Capital now has until the 24th of May to comply this year.
The Illinois Secretary of State's office shows the name Mario E. Davis is registered to 7 different LLCs across central Illinois. 3 of the businesses are some variation on the name Ink Capital, including one in the Washington area and one in Junction City in Peoria, and 5 are dissolved. The only active listing is Black Ink Supply, registered to the same address as the current Peoria location for Ink Capital. Now 2 former employees are sharing their side of what they saw.
Alice Simpkins says she apprenticed at Ink Capital between April and October of 2018 when tattoo artist Mario Davis's business was in Washington. She says she first met Davis to get a tattoo to honor her father, who had just died by suicide. A day after, Davis asked if she would work for him.
I really thought that this was going to be the start of my career. Like, this is all I've wanted to do as a child, and it landed right in my lap. And it got ripped away faster than it landed there.
Instead of money for the apprentice fee, Simpkins says Davis asked for sexual favors, but she paid in cash anyway. While working, she says Davis would grope her in the back room without her consent. Simpkins says alcohol was on hand in the studio, leading to artists making mistakes and customers put at risk.
We all drank like fishes, and that's all that they wanted to do.
After 6 months, Simpkins says she and another apprentice left Ink Capital. She claims after they tried to report their experiences to the Peoria Police Department, law enforcement told them they didn't have enough information to take action.
Everybody told me that he was a snake in the grass, like he was just waiting to grab what he wants and then tuck back into his little hole.
Devin Mangum says he apprenticed at Ink Capital for 1 month in the spring of 2023 at its current location in Peoria. The first thing Mangum claims he noticed was the lack of sanitation. For many apprentices Mangum met, he says this was their first experience in the industry, but were never taught proper cleaning techniques.
There aren't any sharps containers. Some of the 2 of the artist machines weren't properly sanitized. You still had bloodborne pathogens, black ink still inside the wheel well.
Mangum also says he saw misconduct among other apprentices. That includes an alleged instance of an apprentice asking Mangum's client to expose herself after getting a tattoo. In another instance, Mangum alleges he found wrapped condoms in the same apprentice's toolbox.
I kind of looked at Mario and was like, yo, what's this? And he kind of just brushed it off.
Mangum says customers were asked to scan a QR code at the front of the shop that would take them to an online form. While capturing footage for this story, we scanned the code ourselves through the front window of the business. Multiple fields ask the customer to confirm they are 18 years old or older. But Mangum says he never noticed anyone check IDs in person. He admits there's a chance he tattooed minors without knowing.
I don't blame the apprentices. I blame the mentor that's teaching them these methods.
25 News reached out to Ink Capital to request an interview from Mario Davis on these allegations April 23rd.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. I'm rolling.
He called us back.
Yeah, we could definitely meet. I have no problem meeting with you and going over actual facts.
After confirming and setting up a meeting on a Zoom call, we waited an hour and a half for him to log on. But Davis never appeared. On April 24th, we received a communication from a law firm claiming to represent Davis. It says in part he, quote, denies the allegations, is considering legal options, and has no further comment. We asked the attorney cited in the letter over the phone if he would grant us an interview.
Everything we have to say about the matter is in my letter to you. That constitutes our statement.
On April 25th, we got a statement from the Illinois Department of Public Health about Ink Capital. This message right here. It says, quote, the company's license expired in 2022. Since that time, we had received no complaints about them. Upon learning that they may still be in operation, an inspector checked and found the business had opened in a new location, but had not obtained the required license. The inspector has given the business a month to come into compliance. Should the business not come into compliance with state law within the next month, the department would pursue legal options to have the business closed.